Philanthropy is about giving. It's based on the Greek words for love of man. It's been part of the human spirit forever. The Dulwich Picture Gallery is one of these gems of art in the world, which completely depends on private support for its existence. One of the people who has been instrumental here at Dulwich is Dame Vivian Duffield, who was one of the founding trustees of the gallery. And through her Clore Duffield Foundation, they've been fantastic at bringing in the whole community, not only the well-to-do part of Dulwich, but the very diverse communities around London. The changes I've seen in philanthropy over the last 10-20 years have really been driven by the funding available, because the public funding available for the arts has been eroded, and people who care about the arts are increasingly aware of the need for them to be involved. An organization that is not technically about art, but which has a lot of overlap, is the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew. They've just opened this amazing structure called the Hive, which allows people to have the experience of being inside a beehive. And it's beautiful. It's meant to be temporary, but Kew would love to keep it on site. They will only be able to do that if they have private support. So there's an interesting philanthropic opportunity for somebody. One of the great things that happened is that donors are more engaged. They really see themselves more as partners in the whole enterprise. And they're giving not just money, but expertise, strategic advice. Another really important thing is to communicate with those partners and to make sure that they understand what impact they're having with their gifts. And also to be really honest with them about what they really need. Probably my favorite projects when I was at Kew were the Davis Alpine House, which is this splendid structure by Wilkinson Air with an incredible labyrinth underneath it, which cools the air, and then it's naturally brought up past the alpine plants that depend on this. And then the Sackler Crossing. That project was just magic from start to finish. Kew had a real need, because Kew really needed to give people a way that was intermediate, which was a shorter walk, but was still substantial. Around the same time, I was sitting next to Dr. Mortimer Sackler at dinner, and we were discussing various projects at Kew, and I mentioned the bridge. And he said, "Oh, I remember as a boy in New York watching the George Washington Bridge built. And it was wonderful because it was built, and the architect also planned a second layer, which was then fulfilled later." So then I was at an exhibition in the basement of Sir John Soane's museum, and I got a phone call from Teresa Sackler. She told me that the board had just approved the grant to pay for the crossing, which Kew named the Sackler Crossing as an acknowledgement and thank you for their incredible generosity. And this is a really, really good example of connecting with people, with their history, with their emotions, with their thinking. That's what makes philanthropy work. What will actually motivate them to give and to be involved is their heart and their soul, and something that really is meaningful for them. So the challenge for arts organizations is to make it meaningful to that person.